Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Technically, it's not really a podcast. It's more of a weekly roundup that I forgot to do yesterday because I was so fucking tired. But we're going to do the weekly roundup today. And with my special guest, Darkwave, as you can see, is just chilling like a typical black guy.
That's racist. That's racist.
You know, if Spirit was here, she'd be like, oh, yeah, you do.
I mean, I'm drinking water. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if you said that's 40 in there, sir.
I don't drink.
I know.
It's water, people. Water.
Oh, my
Seeing
God.
Darkwave in his natural habitat.
Yeah.
And we're also here by Spirit. Oh, Lord.
Oh, she
How
watched
you
the
doing,
movie too.
Spirit?
Hello.
Yeah, I'd say he looks like a typical black guy today.
That's racist.
What? Why did you? Why did you both say that same thing?
Because this is factual information, sir.
Not information. I wasn't being racist. It's the truth tonight.
Nah, man, you was, man. So
I will be popping in and out. I will be here in spirit, with spirit, because I'm still at work. But just wanted to pop in.
Okay, do you? I'm not gonna stop you. Just let me know when you do, because I have to re-add you, or just mute yourself.
Yeah, I'll just mute.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. How was you guys' week, especially you, Darkwave?
my week was fine. I've been off, so
Lucky bastard. I've been training all week, playing Remnant and everything. Already about to beat the game, I think. I don't even know. Eh, it's actually an okay game.
both was good.
Yeah. Now, while I was at work one of those days, I watched that Resident Evil Dead Island movie, and we're going to talk about that movie today.
Troy.
First things first is a movie about four titular characters, including Rebecca, and how they went to what was the island, the prison they went to again?
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, and had a magical breakout with one of, if not the worst Resident Evil villain with the worst motivations I've ever heard in my life. But by the time I got to the end of the movie, I was like, it's like when I saw the beginning and then I saw that was the same dude. I was just like, that's not, no way. What's the reason? But yeah, let's go and get this thing started. First things first, I want to say I am glad it takes place after 6. Um, and I believe after the other movie, I didn't watch the other movie, so I don't
You
know
never
about
watched
the other.
Vendetta?
No,
Oh, well then.
never get. Yeah, never got a chance to watch Vendetta, but from what I
Well
could
then.
see, it was after 6, and it was just Jill was just for some reason weirded out about her getting controlled by Wesker and everything, and I was just like, wait, that happened years ago at this point.
Yeah, that's one of my issues with this movie. This movie is not that the dialogue or the emotions was necessarily bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that you're telling me that in all this time, she's never spoke. They're like, it's coming off as if they've spoken about this for the first time. That incident with Wesker happened in 2009 in their timeline.
Yeah.
This movie takes place in 2015.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
years. It's years later.
So it's like, why is this coming off as if this just happened 6 months ago?
Like it happened
like I said,
yesterday.
The dialogue and the emotions and how she would feel is fine. But it's like you telling me that because of that, we don't know how long she's been back in the field. And you're telling me from 2009 to 2015, we're still having this type of emotion about what happened almost a decade ago for her? Come on, man.
Wait, didn't Revelations, the first one, happen after 5?
No, it was before 5, I believe.
Okay.
It's like right before 5, I believe.
Okay, all right. Because if it was after 5, I'd be like,
I think
No.
I'm pretty sure it's before 5. I think they go from Revelations to 5, and then et cetera, et cetera. It just, like I said, the dialogue and the conversation, all that was fine. It just feels like these people would never speak to each other. I don't know. It came off like wrestling, like a
Yeah.
wrestling show where things happen. It's like you telling me all week before the show you didn't talk to this person at all. Now it came off a little bit unnaturally. Unnatural. I get what they were trying to do,
Yeah.
but having it come off as if it's the first time is weird. Now, if they had told us how long she's been in the field and that she's still been dealing with this shit since, let's say she took 2 years off, that would have been 2011, and from those 2 years she's been reckless. They could have just said, these last, what, 3 years. Let's say she took 2 years off and she's been back for 3 years. You've been acting more reckless and this, that, and then it would place a timeline and it seemed more natural. But the fact that they're just talking about this as if it happened 6 months ago kind of insults my intelligence. But
Yeah, that was the first thing. I was like, wait, this is years later. Like the first thing, that's one of the first few things that it was mentioned. I'm like, Wesker's been dead for a very long time, and this is after 6. What in the hell are you on about right now, lady? Like, you shouldn't even have a complaint about this. Like, it's not like you're having PTSD right now. It's just years later. Y'all have had this conversation. Y'all probably, what's it called? And she wasn't really being too reckless. It was a small house, and I was like, first of all, because they keep changing Chris's voice actor, it's very confusing. I was just dumb confused who was over the phone, and then when Chris brought it up, I was like, Chris, you admitted yourself that you would be doing the same. You would have did the same thing to protect your team.
it's weird, man. The dichotomy there was weird.
Yeah, and I was like, you guys are best friends. You've been best friends since the 90s. What are you doing right now? You both know what you're both capable of. And I was just like, you both separated in the mansion twice. You both did a big adventure twice. You both.
I mean, they've done multiple things.
3 times for them. Yeah. Jill was.
I mean, they
4. No.
We talking about her adventures?
Yeah.
1, 3, Revelations 5, 4.
Yeah, 4. Chris is 4. Code Veronica.
Chris is 1, Code Veronica, Revelations 5, and if you want to include 8, sure. Or if you want to include 7, that'll be 6. But
yeah,
I'm
7
not going to include 7 because he didn't do shit in 7.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And in 6, I forgot about 6 for a second. So you've been like 4 or 5 adventures, and I'm like, you both not only showed you're capable of handling yourselves, but Chris, you're a little over worried about the one person you should not be worried about. If it was Rebecca going in there by herself, I would be like, Chris, you need to go get her and stop her. Like,
I don't know about that, man. We underplay Rebecca, but she did survive Resi Zero. We tend to forget that because of her character, how her character's portrayed, but she did survive Resi Zero. I will say I did like how Chris mentioned how they're getting numb to this. Yeah, I did like that because they have been dealing with this for almost 2 decades, and it's just like we're getting numb to it.
Mm-hmm. And in Resident Evil 6, you could tell by that point he was just like, "Bruh, I'm just here to shoot motherfuckers in the face."
Well, he was pissed off at a so-called woman in red that was not ever in red. That the one he met was never in red, but was in purple.
Mm-hmm.
And still thought the woman in red was the same woman in that ship, but yet was so blinded by hate he didn't tell that the clothes were changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he couldn't tell the difference. I was like, Chris, was she wearing a dress last time you saw her, or was she wearing pants? A dress. Chris, you need to stop.
Let's move on. Resi 6.
But I wish
no Ada, by the way, in this movie again.
Which I genuinely thought that was Ada on the bike. Speaking of, the introductions to all 4 of the characters were fine, but it was almost like it was. I don't even know how to describe it. You know how Suicide Squad just randomly introduced everybody? It felt kind of like that. and it felt like Leon's was the one where I was just like, okay, this is fine, but some Leon made some crucial mistakes that I almost wanted to literally stop the movie and go to Japan and slap whoever decided to edit and make the movie like that. The person that was on the bike, forgot her name already because she wasn't really that memorable except for one scene. Um, when she just got caught up to him on the bike. This man takes his machine pistol out, aims backwards, and starts shooting. And I'm like, Leon, you're in traffic.
Oh, you didn't see Vendetta. See, this is where Vendetta would come in. You think that's bad? Watch Vendetta, bro. This man was throwing grenades on traffic and killed innocents to kill two zombie dogs. This scene is tame compared to that. In fact, I like this scene when Leon on the bike because it was not when Vendetta was off. Listen, man, Vendetta's the worst one of the CG bunch.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because of how over the top. This man Leon legitimately killed at least 15 people, if not more, on that highway alone to kill two dogs.
Hey, yo, that's hilarious. And
Leon was a drunk in that movie. He basically swapped roles with Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Rebecca's in that movie. That's when you first see her again. She's in Vendetta.
I did see that trailer.
And
where he
the
was
girl
like,
that's
trying to drunk and out of his mind.
And the girl that's after Leon is in Vendetta. So the reason you don't know why she's pissed at Leon is because you didn't watch Vendetta.
Okay, no, because he killed her father. I don't know who her father was.
Vendetta. That's all in Vendetta. You can watch that shit. And you be watching that alone.
Yeah. But when he started shooting in traffic, I was like, what? I was like, Leon, you have a machine pistol and you missed quite a few shots. You should be in jail right now, my guy. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, my dude, what if you were driving on the highway, you just had some person just randomly received a bullet in their windshield? What the fuck?
Like I said, man, I'm not reacting the way you are because, like I said, Vendetta was far worse.
Okay,
what he was doing in that movie was just ridiculous.
That's terrible. But like, legitimately, I was just super confused when that man started firing in traffic, and I was like, okay. But I genuinely thought it was Ada, and I was just like, Chris. I was like, Leon, just stop. You're not gonna escape this situation. And then when I saw her take her helmet off, I was like, that is not Ada. Okay, cool. Yeah, the outfit choice is a little confusing. Yeah.
It's just a battle suit she wore in Vendetta. She literally looked dressed the same in Vendetta, basically.
Okay. But
she was barely in that movie either.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She was there, but
yeah. But yeah, and then of course, Claire got introduced. Claire had the worst introduction. She just went up and rubbed the zombie bitten whale, and I was like, okay.
That's her thing now. She doesn't really do the fighting anymore. She's like protector girl now, and we all know she's a badass. But it's
I was confused at that.
It's Capcom. I think what it is Capcom is trying to give these characters an identity to separate them from each other, because you can't have Jill and Claire basically be the same, quote quote.
Yeah.
So they make Claire kind of like I don't want to say bumbling fool, because she's not.
She's not.
But it's almost as if they nerf her. It's almost as if they nerf her until she needs to actually fight.
Yeah, and because when the dude whipped the tentacle, she's like, backflip in the midair. I was like,
badass again. They're just trying to give them more distinctive characters. So you're not gonna have her have some like action pack scene, because action is the last thing really. It's like while Leon, Chris, and Jill are the action, Rebecca and Claire are more like the back line. They want to save and they want to do things without the weapons. So
yeah,
I get her introduction.
Yeah, I get it, but I was just like, can we have you doing something else? Because
no, that's what she does.
And my thing with it is they're trying to reintroduce and add more to these characters when we already have a lot on these characters. It's not like this is the first time we're seeing any of them. This is the millionth time we're seeing all four of these characters. We've played with them for years, and we have remakes with 3 out of 4 of those characters. So it's like, okay,
Well, again, it's weird, you know.
yeah,
Um, the Resident Evil, I feel like the movies and the games.
hmm
I mean, I think they are done by different people, but it's like you have different mindsets for how certain people want these characters to be, and it's just getting to a point where it's almost like two different universes.
yeah,
You know, like
almost, but yeah,
you look at Leon and this, and like Leon's probably my favorite Resi character. You look at Leon from this,
hmm
and then you look at Leon and say Infinite Darkness, or maybe from Resi 4 remake, and it's almost like two different people. You know, whereas this Leon still fits the Resi 4 original Leon and Resi 6 Leon. It's just so the vision seemed like it's split between how they
yeah,
want this character. Chris is always going to be the same. Chris is kind of like just a
he's a
normal
meathead.
Captain America hero.
Yeah, he's
Jill
my favorite.
Jill is the badass woman now.
Mhm.
Rebecca is now the scientist, which is fine. She was always
It's
the health
fine.
medic.
She's always been like that, and I'm like, the fact that she
And
found,
Claire is kind of like in between. She is a badass, but chooses not to be
yeah,
because
but
she
I'm
wants to
like,
be savior.
clearly she's keeping up with training and stuff. It's not like she's just like, oh, I'm only doing this now. And then another thing, and now that you mention that, the problem is that happened in the movie for me is what the doctor tried to call Claire's group of terrorists, and I was just like, did you not watch the news after her situation in Revelations 2? You know that's not true in the slightest. You would know that if you were paying attention. And I was like, did anybody not play the game before they made this movie?
No, it's not even that. It's just the fact that they are trying to all the which plays into this villain, which I don't like this villain really too
This
much.
villain was,
It's like I like him, but then I don't. It's funny that he pretty much calls them all pieces of shit, but
yeah,
the way he's going about it doesn't make any sense. So
dude,
basically, what everyone is saying, and this doctor saying that your group's a bunch of terrorists is because they're not to them or to him. They're not saving or doing what they should be doing. Instead, they're only focusing on maybe like big events and shit.
I'm pretty sure Claire saves anybody.
It's just it's one of those things where it's like a real life thing where, like, say governments only focus on big time shit, but the small time shit they seem like to say fuck off. And I guess that's what the doctor's trying to get at, and he's basically just calling them terrorists because almost basically like a cult. What he basically called them, and it's just like,
and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was just like, when I watched that part, I was just like, even Claire's reaction to when the dude called her a terrorist was understandable because it's the same exact reaction I had. Because I was just like, so
there's
you
one
didn't.
problem with that. We only see Claire. We never, and this is a problem with this movie is that you have these characters calling them these out. Like the only one who you can really say is like truly like has some dirt behind him is Leon, but he works in the fucking government. So obviously, and if you watch Infinite Darkness, you know that is a thing.
Yeah,
that they have dirt that Leon will just not. He would probably want to deal with it, but he's not because he's part of the government.
Yeah.
When it comes to Terror Save, we've only really seen Claire. We haven't seen anyone else in Terror Save. So them calling them a cult or a terrorist is like, for me, it's like, well, we've only seen Claire. So wherever they're doing, we don't know what else they're doing because we've only seen really Claire in that main role.
But so if Terror Save is a terrorist group already, then I'm pretty sure Claire would already have found that out. I'm sure she's not an idiot.
No, even though they try to portray her as one at times, but she's not.
Well, yeah, I was just like, huh? But moving on with the movie, after the introduction, we got the little talk with Jill going through her whatever, but then becoming numb, saying that the bad guys have no soul, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Jill, and I love Jill. I was like, Jill, I don't think you gathered what Chris just told you. I'm pretty positive you were just talking about, the bad guys and stuff. He's pretty much telling you to relax before you get more innocent people killed, which is what he said. And I was like, you have two different conversations right now. You are like, he's trying to help you. Again, Jill, you're his best friend. You've been best friends for decades. Don't know why people keep skipping him though.
And this is why this movie, in some ways, doesn't make sense in terms of time, because we don't
Yeah.
know. Had they have said for these last, like I said, Resident Evil 5 took place in 2009. If she took 2 years off to kind of just get over herself and whatever, and she's been doing this from 2011 to 2015, that's 4 years. If Chris had said these 4 years you've been growing more angry and more reckless, and then said what he said, at least it would have put a timetable on how long that she's been doing this and her and frustrations. But everything comes off as if this movie took place 6 months or so after Resi 5, and she's just back in the field and just super pissed off. Because all she is pissed the fuck off.
Yeah, and I was like, this is after 6. So where's Sherry and Jake?
Well,
why don't we help them help?
For BSAA, number one.
I know that, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is definitely. As soon as I saw that Chris was still working for the BSAA, I was like, oh, this is clearly before 7. Clearly,
yeah, this is all before 7. Everything, all these movies take place between 6 and 7.
Yeah, and I was like, doesn't
so
7 take place like 18, 19?
I think 7 takes place in 2018.
We can.
I don't
Hannah Daily Google.
know.
What year does RE8 take place? 2021.
Really?
Yeah. No, Village is in 2021. I'm sorry. 3 years.
I'm going to say 7 because 7 takes place in 2017, I believe.
Yeah. So 3 years later. Yeah.
So this is 2 years before 7.
Yeah. And I'm like,
so
what? We could have got the story on how New Umbrella became a thing. You know what I mean?
Going to do that, man. This movie, like I said, it's two different minds, man. The game and these movies are like two different brains on like how they want to do certain things. And ultimately, these movies, because they use certain shit, never get mentioned in games like directly. So it's even hard. I mean, they're canon.
Yes.
Capcom says they're canon. But if you came to me and said they're not canon, I wouldn't like completely argue.
Yeah.
Because they never mention, like, they'll mention stuff from the games in the movie, but the stuff from the movies never get mentioned from the game. At least not in like a blatant, like in this movie they mentioned Pierce. I love when Chris mentioned Pierce.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, hey, look, Pierce. Despite my hate for Resi 6, that was a good thing to mention Pierce. Again, this movie makes it seem as if these people don't talk to each other though. I can understand Chris and Claire.
Yeah.
Maybe being kind of not talking. Hell, after Infinite Darkness, I understand Leon and Claire not talking to each other. In fact, I understand Leon not talking to anybody because he's not even with them.
Yeah.
But Jill and Chris not talking doesn't make sense. Rebecca's with them, I believe. So it's like...
Yeah, and that's why when Chris had to explain that she got taken over by Wesker, I was like, realistically, who's this scene for?
I don't know, man.
I was like, who doesn't know that?
Pierce? How long was she out?
Yeah,
Pierce was there in Resi 6 took place in 2012. Was she out of action from 2009 until now? That seems like a long time to be out of action just because you got brain controlled by Wesker.
And I was just like, in my mind, I was just like, the fact that he's explaining that she got mind controlled, and I was like, who is this scene particularly for? It's not for Resident Evil fans because we already know this information. You're explaining this to us again that we've played.
I think what they were trying to do is tell you how Jill actually felt, because realistically in that game you don't get how she feels. She gets control. She gets the thing out of her. Yeah. She says a few words and it's right back to action.
Yeah, and then all that time,
and all that time, you don't see Jill ever in games,
or
in movies. You don't see her. So this scene, or all the scenes with Chris and Joe, kind of like talking, is basically trying to get an insight on how Jill feels internally, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, but
it just comes off as if this shit happened it just comes off as if this shit happened 6 months ago instead of 7-8 years ago.
And you know what they could have did that would have made it a lot better? Have the scene like say she walked away, right? And you saw her walking down the hallway, and then you started hearing her thoughts, and then she explained the situation to like the audience type of situation.
Yeah, you gotta put
Easy.
timelines on this shit. Like I said,
Yeah,
even
like
Chris has said, for these last 4 years since you've been back, you've
yeah,
been getting more erratic. You put a timeline and it fixes everything.
yeah,
Because
fix everything.
when you don't put a timeline, I'm sitting here because I watched with our good friend Jamal. I watched with him and we're like, did this just happen 6 months ago? Isn't this movie take place in 2015? That shit happened in 2009. What are we doing?
Yeah, and it mentions Pierce, and I'm like, this is definitely after 6. So what is going on?
And I guess she never met Pierce, which
it's fine.
I mean, it can happen.
Yeah,
but it's like,
fine.
do y'all not talk to each other?
Yeah, I was like, you didn't have a conversation before this? Again, I was like, Chris, chill. I was like, aren't you both best fucking friends? That's very confusing.
Friendships in Resident Evil is so fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, and I was like, fine.
We don't know anything. Like, the only friendship we know is could be strained is Leon and Claire, and that's just due to Infinite Darkness. That's really it. That's like the only friendship you can say might be a little strained, and that's just because of the ending of Infinite Darkness.
What the hell happened at the end of Infinite Darkness?
Basically, it was a virus, obviously.
Yeah.
And they had everything to just go. They could expose everything and do that. But Leon basically said, no, don't do that because it will cause a public panic.
Yeah.
And basically, without basically saying it, the government basically hides all that shit, and Leon knows about it. So you can almost say Leon's is cause of deaths of millions. Yeah. But again, she wanted to expose it, and he wanted to basically do it in a different way because of the public chaos it would have caused. Which he's not wrong, because you'd have caused massive public chaos. Yeah. And that would have just been a lot worse. But then Claire isn't wrong because at least it's out there and everyone would know and they'll be exposed. So that friendship could be strained. It's the only one that really could be strained. Everything else, you know, there's nothing there because, again, Jill, it's as if these people don't talk. So I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah. But, and mind you, this is before they finally got to Alcatraz. And it was just like, Operation, let's find a way to get everyone to Alcatraz. And, you know, for me, I was just like, okay, you got Chris and Jill and Claire just going there by themselves. And then when they got there, we saw a dude in the jail cell doing a little YouTube thing. I'm like, all right, this is just out of place a little bit. Just a tinge. I don't care this much. And then a zombie outbreak happened. And I was just like, okay.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Getting right to it.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. You. The pacing's a little weird because we just went from scene to scene like this, but okay, I'm cool.
And Rebecca's already working on Cure.
Yeah, Rebecca's already working on Cure. And they're literally fighting the zombie outbreak inside of the hallway of the prison. And I was like, this is pretty cool. You know, Chris is doing his stuff, Jill is doing her stuff, and Claire's doing her stuff. And I was just like, oh, wow.
By the way, I like this scene more than everything in Vendetta. Everything in Vendetta was so over the fucking top. Way over the top. This shit at least was a little bit more digestible. Over the top, but digestible. Yeah, you have to watch Vendetta after. You have to watch Vendetta. And you'll understand everything I say about these fights. The only fight scene that was a little bit over the top Vendetta style was Leon, but we'll discuss him when we get to it. Oh my God.
Yo. But essentially, you know, that fight was great. And then when the dude fell in the hole, right, and Jill jumped down after him, I was genuinely confused. I was like, Jill, why are you jumping after the gentleman? You set yourself up, lady.
Well, she's trying to save him.
She's trying to save him. But after, you know, a second, you should probably realize there are three things.
Well, they don't know. Well, you gotta remember, they don't know what's happening. They don't know who, because one minute they save a person and then that person's turned and they don't know why. So they're trying to save as many, but the moment they save them, they're fucked.
Yeah.
So they don't want to just put a bullet at everyone's head and be like, fuck this shit. Boom.
Yeah. When Chris pulled that lady up and then next thing you know, a couple minutes later she transformed, I was like, okay, this is a weird zombie virus, I guess. Right? And you know, for me, I was like, okay, this makes complete sense. I get it. But she jumped in the hole and I was like, you're out of bullets. What are you?
She had a knife. Hey,
all
man,
right.
Resident Evil knives, man. We know how the knives are in Resi.
Yes,
Full
we
knife
do.
run, bro. That's what she was going for, a knife run.
All right. Jumps in the sewer, and then we get our other protagonist, Leon, coming out of
We get
nowhere.
the obligatory Leon fights woman and Matt in a quick fight, only to get into a draw, only to be like, oh my god, it's you.
Thank you. This is the second time I've seen Leon fight somebody for more than 5 seconds and not open his eyeballs. I think Leon is fighting these people with his eyes closed every time now at this point. He's like,
He's done this 3
oh my,
times.
oh my god. And I'm like, Leon, open your eyeballs. Do you need glasses? What's happening right now? Apparently that's what they need, because I'm like, the Chris one, it was a little dark. I got it. But
It's happened multiple times. He did it with Ada and Damnation. He did it with Chris and 6, trying to kill Ada. And then he does it with Jill. To Leon's defense, though, he's on a mission, and he's basically taking no bullshit.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
He attacks first and asks questions later.
Yes, but when he got flipped over and the first time and all that stuff, I would have been like, oh, okay, hold up, wait a second, and assess the situation. The Chris one, it was almost like, dude, you're slightly in the dark, but you got thrown, and then you whip your gun out, and I'm like, okay, that was a little dark. But this one, I was just like, bro, it's not dark.
Like I said, you have to remember, he doesn't work with these people, so he doesn't know what the honestly, every fight that he has done, in some ways, while just becoming just a trope at this point, it's a bit understandable. With Ada, it's just Ada. I mean, whatever. Chris he didn't really care who it was, because to him, someone's about to kill his baby, quote quote, and he needs to save her. Fine. The Jill one, he doesn't even know they're there. So who the fuck is this person sneaking up on him? Because she saw his shadow. Remember, she sees his shadow. So obviously he sees hers. So he doesn't know that BSAA agents are even here, because he doesn't work with them. So to him, he's probably thinking someone sees him and they snuck up on him. So his first instinct is to attack. And the only time he really sees them is when they get into a stalemate. And by the way, people, it was a stalemate, but Leon, he kind of got whipped around like a bitch. But that's besides the point. That was funny though. I'm fine with it. It's whatever. It's Leon's thing. He fights everyone.
Yeah,
and now it's becoming apparent with the ladies.
Yeah, apparently.
Except with Claire. Except with Claire. He hasn't fought Claire yet. Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, I'd say he needs glasses. He needs glasses.
He came close. He came close. In Degeneration, he already pointed the gun, but they pay homage to Resi 2 when he said, get down. So.
But that scene was actually pretty cool. And then when he saw the liquor tongue, he was the first and only one to be like, oh no. And I was like, wait a second. Didn't you fight liquors before?
She did not.
She didn't?
No, because in Resi 5, it's Chris and Sheva that deals with the liquors. She's not there. The liquors aren't in Lost Nightmares, I don't believe.
What about Revelation?
3? Revelations, no. I don't believe there were liquors. And 3, she didn't deal with liquors. She dealt with hunters.
Yeah, she definitely dealt with hunters.
She's never fought a liquor until now. At least to my knowledge. I could be wrong. I thought it was 5. But I remember it was Chris and Sheva, because in Lost of Nightmares, I don't think there was any liquors.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe Jill at any point. I don't think there was any Revelations. From what I remember, Revelations was nothing but the fucking moldy type things. So, I don't believe there were in Revelations. And Mercenaries does not count.
Yeah, no, Mercenaries definitely does not count.
She's never fought a liquor. Leon's been fighting since fighting liquors. The funny thing is, I don't think Leon's fought liquors, but never fought a hunter.
Yeah,
I don't think. And she's only fought hunters, but never fought a liquor.
Let me just double check that, because I was like, wait a minute, because I'm like, when did liquors first appear?
2.
Resident Evil 2, right?
Yeah, Claire's fought well, depending on how you play it. I mean,
Yeah, Claire's fought multiple.
Sure, depending. Yeah, she's never fought unless they may have maybe appeared in the Josh thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember them appearing in the Josh DLC with her. They could have. I don't think they have. And if they did, I mean, they were dead in like 2 seconds. So
tight. Okay, yeah, you're right. She never fought one.
yeah, Chris has, of course, with
Chris has
Sheva.
fought multiple fucking ones.
Yeah, and 5 with Sheva. That's the only time he's fought him.
Yep. But yeah, it's freaking. It was freaking weird. I was like, huh. But now that you mentioned it, I guess I could change a little bit on that. And I was like, okay. But the one thing that I honestly say I was happy about was the fact that this is the Leon from the original Resident Evil 4. So he was corny as fuck. And I was like, yes, more of this.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Leon is, first of all, I love Matthew Mercer as Leon. He is probably my favorite Leon voice.
Same here.
I do like God, the new one. I cannot remember his name right now.
Yeah, but I like Matthew Mercer better because he sounds more like, especially the older version of Leon. He sounds more like the older version of Leon would sound at that point.
I like, what is the dude who talks for Leon now? Oh my God, I cannot get his name. I liked him in Resi 4. I thought he did him very good in Resident Evil 4. Mm-hmm. The voice actor for Leon. But Matthew Mercer, Nick the Potalitis, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Nick does a great job. In Infinite Darkness, it was weird because in Infinite Darkness he sounded just like Resi 2 Leon, but Resi 4, it was weird. But either way, I like most of Leon's voices. Matthew Mercer just brings, when he says these one-liners, it sounds more dickish with Matthew Mercer.
Yeah,
and more just like that sarcastic dick as opposed to other people.
Yeah, that's why I say I like the banter in the original Resident Evil 4 a little bit better than the remake, especially when it came to Salazar, where he was just so annoying to that man.
Although I probably say I like Resi 4 Leon more because that Salazar scene in Resi 4 when he just said "fuck this" and shot him. I listen, that right there, man, I was like, beautiful. I fucking stood up and clapped because that man was taking no bullshit.
Yeah, by that point he's like, I'm tired. And it was about the play. He like, who says I want to be a part of your play anyway?
But he's in it, and that Leon does feel more akin to. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. Like that Leon from Resi 4 remake. If you told like watching this movie, that does not feel like the same Leon.
It doesn't.
Not saying Leon doesn't have one liners in 4 remake. He does, but they're not like
they're not the same.
Retarded.
Yeah.
This Leon feels like a Leon from Resi 6, Resi 4, etc. And
making one-liners, not caring and doing what he needs to do to get shit done. While Resident Evil remake, he seemed more cautious, but not as asshole-ish.
But it seems more like but he feels like he evolved. It's so weird.
Oh yeah, he did. He evolved from the Resident Evil 2 remake. You can
it's like
tell that.
The original Resi 2 to Resi 4 to Resi 6. Let me phrase it. From Resi 2 to Resi 4, it's like, what the fuck happened? Resi 4 to Resi 6 is toned down because of the situation, but there's a lot more. It's like they don't know it's there. Then you get the other movies. Damnation is back to like Resi 4. Degeneration, we don't even talk. That Leon's just fucking stoic as garbage.
Yeah,
nothing in that movie. But Damnation feels like Resident Evil 4, a little bit mixed with Resi 6, and then this one feels like Damnation Resi 6 Leon. Whereas this new Leon is like Resi 2 remake Leon, Infinite Darkness Leon, and then this one, which Infinite Darkness comes after 4, so it'll be 4 remake then Infinite Darkness. So there's so many fucking Leons, man. It's like 2 different Leons. But I love his interaction with Jill in this movie.
Yeah.
People have been waiting for this team up for
years.
Ever.
Yeah, because it's the only team up combination we haven't seen. Because as much as people wanted to see Chris with his sister, is almost like, okay, we've seen it twice now.
The Chris and Jill thing, the Chris and Claire thing. Once it happened in Code Veronica, I was fine with.
Yeah, me too.
The Jill and Leon thing, it was just something. And I never really thought about it. Honestly, until this movie really came out, and I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, they never did work together. Which is funny that they
Which
know
is
each
weird.
other.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, but then how did they know each other?
Well, again, it's almost as if these people don't talk, but yet Leon knows Jill. He even says, "Well, Jill Valentine."
Leon
Okay,
Kennedy.
y'all
I
know
was
each
like,
other. Y'all know each other, or at least know of each other. You know it. He knows her by face, so it's like,
I was like, who the fuck?
when did this happen? I mean, we don't have. It's Resident Evil is so bizarre.
Yeah,
I understand Chris and Leon know each other because you got 6. That happens.
exactly.
And then Chris mentions, Leon mentions Chris and Versa in other games. Like, you got
Yeah,
Leon, you got Claire telling Steve Burnside she's gonna say, mention Leon to tell Chris.
Mhm.
Then you got Chris mentioning the Kennedy report in 5. So they at least at some point or another met with each other. And because he knows Claire, so it's by default.
Yeah, he had to meet her.
Yeah, I didn't know when he met Rebecca, because he meets Rebecca in Revelation, and this man looks at her and says, Dr. High Hopes. He was drunk. So, I don't know where he met. Maybe he saw her on fucking TV somewhere. But the Jill thing, I'm like, okay. They know each other. I guess at some point they said, hello, I'm Chris, or I'm Leon, and I'm Jill.
That's why I was just like, the beginning of this movie is stupid. But, okay.
But, despite all that, it was a good meeting. I love the interactions. He wasn't as corny as I thought he would be. He actually came off like Resi 6 Leon, where he does say his little one-liners, but it's more like just stuff like that,
Yeah.
Some shit. Typically.
And of course, we can't go further without mentioning the origins of the villain of the movie. Forgot his name. Because I did not give a fuck about him. Right?
You know why I care about Dylan? His voice actor. That's the only reason why.
Who's his voice actor?
Damon Mills.
Who's
the
that?
voice actor for the one who took over for Chris for Chris Ayers as Frieza.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he played. Damon Mills taught for Frieza now.
Oh yeah.
He was a villain in the One Piece movie. I forgot his name.
Uh-huh.
His voice range. He's actually, I don't know if he plays Honkai Star Rail.
No.
He's actually the character Blade in that game. So his range is very good, and I've grown to like Damon Mills as more as I hear him because he has fantastic range.
So he's the one that does Frieza now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So now
he took over when Chris was sick, and then when Chris came back for the Broly movie, unfortunately, eventually, later on, Chris eventually passed on.
Yeah.
So now he is the de facto, unless something changes, he is the de facto Frieza voice now.
Okay. All right. But now it goes back to what I was saying. His reasoning behind this was just terrible, especially when he but it was just showing the backstory, and he was trying to save his crew even though they were bitten, and they're clearly looking like zombies. What? You don't have to shoot them. Yeah, I was
they're
like,
just
dude.
sick.
I was like, dude, they're sick, banging on the window, looking like they're about to break it, and your teammate's about to shoot them. And then he allows his friend to get fucking bit. And then him and his friend is fighting for the gun. And then he gives his friend the gun and then beats his friend's ass with what's called. And I was just like, it seems more like your fault, buddy. Mostly your fault.
You know the big problem with Dylan?
What?
I feel like there's so much more missed out. You're angry because Umbrella sent you in to this city that was pretty much fucked. That didn't know shit. You had to kill all your buddies. Your friend died, and you had to kill him. Fine. That's Umbrella. Umbrella is long gone. Why are you still pissed? I feel like we missed something in this origin story somewhere. Now, I get his thing is, Umbrella was corrupt, and all these other fucking people are corrupt, and I want to clean the slate. I'm going to be the one to turn who I want to turn. Okay. First of all, you go to Alcatraz for what? Number one. Number two, you're turning innocent people who has nothing to do with this. For what? Number three, Leon, Chris, Claire, Rebecca, and Jill are nothing but peons in this cog of the machine. If they die, that means nothing. Why aren't you going after the people that I don't know actually runs this shit? If you really want to stop it, then why didn't you go after the fucking president?
Exactly. And I'm
It's
like,
like we missed something
dude,
there.
exactly. And I'm like, dude, why aren't you going after the people that had anything to do with it? Like, it would have been better if he was like, I'm going after former Umbrella executives. Fine, I get it.
I mean,
Right?
umbrella executives, terrorists, the black market. I mean, I don't know. The T and G virus are out there in the black market. Why aren't you? But you're going after innocent people in Alcatraz because
Instead, he just killed a bunch of innocent people on Alcatraz for zero reason. And then, to me, when he finally revealed and what's name escapes and he's just there in the jail cells, that's when I started getting a little bit annoyed with the movie because I spent so much time with them injured and infected. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then when Leon finally got infected, I was just like, okay, so now we're wasting more time with this. And we're taking a long time with this one situation. And I even said this to Galactic Carnage. I said, Leon has a super flashbang because flashbangs don't work like that. How the fuck are you going to activate a flashbang and it makes multiple pulses? And I'm just like, what kind of light grenade is that? That is not a
flashbang. In the
flashbang.
government, man, he got some supernatural shit. By the way, I will say, I like the way he was distributing the virus.
Yeah,
I did think that was clever.
Yeah, that was very clever.
Little gnats. My problem is, I know plot armor is a thing, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
The main characters took forever to transform, while everybody else who got hit with it transformed in seconds.
Yeah, everyone else transformed like that, and I gotta see Leon and everyone else. Guys, we can. And they got Claire. Got Claire still able to stand up to banish the doctor. And I'm like this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen like,
these other people died and you guys are, come on, man.
We could do this.
And we don't do, and again, villain mentality. We don't take out Jill.
Yeah, and I was like, Jill, how did Jill get over there so quickly? I remember the whole,
and then we got the obligatory, oh, guys, we still have Jill. Yeah, there's hope. But I'm like, y'all should be zombies by now. What happened? And here comes Rebecca conveniently. Fucking virus in hand.
First of all, she should have. She should.
Oh, shit.
She survived that situation.
Oh, the shark? Neptune?
Yes.
Hey, man.
How was she the only person that was able to stay up? She was on a raft with two other people. He was the only one to not get swept up in that situation, but everybody else.
Plot armor. Hey, I love how Rebecca, when Jill said, "Where's everyone else?" She just looks at Jill. Dead. I'm like, well, shit. Numb to it.
At that point, I was just like, how is that even fucking possible? But okay.
I don't know, man.
All right, I was looking at the scene and I had to rewind the scene like 5 times. I was like, yo, what happened to the two dudes that were on the same joint with you? What happened? Did they just fall out into the water? Did they get eaten up or they just fell in the water? And I was just like, I don't even care anymore. And I was like, Rebecca, there's no possible way that you're the only whatever. She was the only person to survive it.
Pull out armor, me boy.
And then she was able to, before, what's it called? Claire was clearly the closest to transforming. Got hit with the.
They should have easily all been dead.
Yeah,
but of course they can't die because we know what they're at least. Honestly, you could have actually killed most of them because the only one who comes out after this is Chris.
Yeah,
we don't know what fucking Leon is. What's Leon at? Haven't seen that man in canon since. Continue this conversation. I gotta go get my food outside.
Yeah,
it's been sitting out there for like 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Be right back.
But yeah, my major problem is what they should have did, especially when it came to the Chris and Claire relationship. And I'll probably bring this back up to Darkwave. Is while she was transforming, wouldn't it have been cool that if Claire and Chris started sharing memories of their childhood, you know, just to kind of put them, as brother and sister, so you kind of get more insight to their past and how they were. Besides random stuff during Resident Evil games where you got to look in the office of Claire, no, office of Chris, and like the police station and stuff like that, where you kind of see how his mentality toward his sister, that he protects her and loves her, or in Code Veronica, it would have been stupid cool if he was like, Claire, don't transform. Remember when we were kids, when dad, blah, 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 blah. It would have been fucking vicious if it started adding more depth to their brother sister, relationship while they were close to death.
Depth in Resident Evil? Sorry, we don't have time for that.
Dog, it would have been cool.
You will never get that type of shit in Resident Evil unless it's like a book.
Yeah, but it would have been cool though. We'd be like, Claire, listen to me. Come on, tell me a memory of when we were kids or something. Something cool. And I was like, I would love to know what they were like when they were kids.
This is what I would like to know. How are these people outside of fucking work? The only one you can possibly have an inkling of how they are out of work, maybe, and I mean absolutely maybe, is Leon. Which is not surprising.
So speaking of after this, he's taking a vacation. So, you can understand.
He's been saying that since Resident Evil 4. This man, legitimately, this whole... have you seen Damnation?
No.
The one with Leon and Ada and all that?
I think I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That whole movie, the man was pissed off because you took him off furlough vacation to come to this town, and they wanted him to leave. That was his whole point. He said, why am I leaving? You took me off vacation for this shit. This man's been crying about this vacation for decades. It's over. Matter of fact, he has vacation. He smashed Ada. There you go. That was your vacation.
Whatever.
I mean, listen. It's alluded to that they did something. So he's like the only one we have any type of act, how they would actually be maybe outside of work. You don't get that shit with anyone else, man. Everyone else is like work. So we don't know these personalities. We don't really know. We don't know how Claire is outside of work. We don't know how Rebecca is. We don't know how Chris is. We damn sure don't know how Jill is. I mean, they're just one-note characters. Leon's one-line banters kind of gives him slightly more character than everyone else. It's not much, but the way he interacts with Ada and all this other shit, you can kind of maybe see how he maybe would be outside of work. He already doesn't seem like he doesn't give a shit anyway. He's kind of just there getting he even said it pays the bills. I mean, Leon, was Dylan, your government is corrupt and hide things. Man, Leon, it makes a living. I don't give a shit anymore. Like, fucking Leon, man.
Yeah. And then there's when they finally got cured, she cured Leon first, and Leon was gone. And I was like, where the fuck did he just run off to at Mach speed like that? But okay, I guess we had a bit of a time lapse from when Claire and Chris got, injected with the cure. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Leon must have went on his own already, right?
Yeah.
We gotta go help him. Now, we know where Leon went.
Yeah.
We're gonna get his ass whooped.
Leon went to a room. I don't even know what the fuck the room was. I stopped caring a little bit. And he's finally confronted with the lady with the yellow hair and the suit that didn't make any sense for her. But I don't care.
You know who she is, man? She's Nina.
Yeah. And she was glad that he didn't die from the virus, and then proceeds to beat his ass.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the most over-top action scenes I've seen, especially when she ripped out the controls and it magically became a whip. And I was just looking at the screen like, I don't think that's how that works. But
no, fuck that. He should have been dead when he got his head smashed into steel pipes.
Yes, he should have been. Yes.
Concussion, dead. Now, that fight was hilarious. But that fight also pissed me off.
Yeah, because he was getting his ass whooped the whole time.
Because you're at the very end, they're like clashed. He blocks her, but they give you the close up of Leon's eyes as if he hits the "I have awoken," and then kicks her so far across the room She gets impaled. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You telling me this man gets beat up all this time, and they give you this close-up look on his face as he's blocking her, like, I'm back to 100%. I have awoken my Saiyan form, and whoosh.
It kicks her,
Mark
and she
kicks
flies
her.
into the fucking part of the spikes, and I'm just like, if that's enough to kill you, even though you have a virus inside of you,
Dude, that
I'm
was
going to be
wrong.
mad. And next thing you know, she doesn't get back up, and I was just like,
Blat. I'm like,
that was a waste of my fucking time.
and then Leon just looks at her like, yeah, at least you're together with your father.
Yeah. Right, and then we get back to Jill finding the villain in the room of, as I call, the cameo room, because that was not an armory, that was a cameo room. In the cameo room, and when Dylan finally injected himself with the virus and jumped in the water, the first thing I thought, I was just like, huh? And then he fell in the water and fused with the shark thing, and I was just like, huh? I was like, why couldn't they just make him mutate like, every other villain in the series? Instead, he fused with the shark thing and became so stupid.
I'm gonna say this.
Uh-huh.
Is it just me?
Mhm.
Maybe I'm on an island.
Mhm.
But when he actually appeared,
Mhm.
didn't he look like Nemesis in Resident 3 Remake?
He did, and it was pissing me off.
I sat
was
there,
just
I'm like, Nemesis?
Yeah.
Is
I
that
was
you?
like- yeah, I was looking at my screen like, what the hell is going on? Why did he fuse with the shark? And then when they all got in there, they out in the room and everything, and then he first whipped a tentacle at them, and they all did their super slow-mo backflip, jump flips, and jumps. I was like, okay, so this is just literally a spot fest like in wrestling. And I was like, fine, I'm okay with this spot fest right here.
I'm not gonna lie, I lost my fucking mind. I kind of figured for me and Jamal lost our minds because the next scene, you just seeing people whip out these big ass guns. And at first I'm like, from where? Where? And then I'm like, wait a minute, there's canisters. So
Yeah.
Fran was losing his mind. I'm like, okay, maybe they got him from the canisters.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Yeah.
eventually you do see them go to the canister and open the box. I was like, oh, thank God. Because if they didn't show that shit,
Yeah.
I'd have dropped this movie down to a goddamn zero, man. Just,
Hey, yo.
I mean, they come out with guns. Now, granted, when they get the time to go over there,
Yeah.
in that amount of time, to bring out these big ass guns, I'm like,
Yeah. And then the fact that Chris is wielding the bone saw or the little chain gun with one arm, I was like, he rambled that shit. I was like, Chris is still strong as fuck. But I was just like, yo, okay, first of all, right, you can't tell me shit. That room was a room full. That was a cameo room. That wasn't an armory. That was just cameos. They had weapons that these characters happen to be using in the games consistently. No,
I mean, we got
no
the
fucking
Nemesis
way.
killing weapon in the game. I mean,
When I saw the railgun, I got agitated more than I got was more like, ooh, remember? I was more like, there's a specific railgun, a similar weapon you use to defeat Nemesis. Yep, happens
the
to be
killer
here
Nemesis
too.
look-alike.
Yeah, And then she was like, can you distract them when you gotta charge it? Distracting. Then they find a truck. And Chris gets on the back, loads us up, and they start shooting like it's the game. I was just like,
Resi 5, man.
I was like, this is Resident Evil 5 right now. And next thing you know,
Leon with his fucking line of the year. I'm definitely going on vacation after this. Yeah, sure, man.
yeah,
You
okay.
want no goddamn vacation, bro. And do what? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Leon, on your vacation? Huh? What you gonna do? Huh? You gonna go? You gonna call Ada up? Is that the plan? You gonna call Ada up for more innuendos? Fuck out of here. Vacation.
So yeah, it actually agitated me something fierce when, I was just like, okay, so again, this is just a room full of references and stuff that actually just sits here, and I was just like, yo,
I've
why
been
in the
fine with
hell?
it. Maybe if the villain did not look like Nemesis.
I would have been fine with it if the villain was a little less, if he just mutated.
Dumb.
Yeah, and
That's
he was
not.
dumb.
He just like, what does this do?
And I was like, okay, cool. You fused with the monster. I knew he was gonna fuse with it when he ate him. I was like, As soon as he came back out the water looking like a monster, I was like, Thank you for proving to us that You're very obvious. You didn't. I don't even know if he. Whatever. But at the end of the day, I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. Shoots him with the railgun. He gets up, and then Jill proceeds to stay there and try to charge it again. And I was looking at my screen like, Jill, he is 5 feet from you. What are you doing? Move. Or, I don't know, get the big man who punched the boulder to fucking pick it up
I
and
don't know,
move it
man.
for you.
I honestly just don't know. I don't know, man. That whole last battle was so like bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I was too fixated on the fact that they just basically copied Nemesis.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right. And then the way they killed him was
the part that fucked me up on that situation too, right? Is when she got in the water and started swimming, and I was like, wait, wouldn't it be faster than her by like a country mile? Because it's a fish monster.
Well, it got hurt, apparently.
I mean, it got hurt from the railgun, but it still would probably be like, I'm right behind you.
You would think.
Right? But apparently, yeah.
Hey, man,
and then
they're superheroes, man.
Yeah, and then the only
Jill's
new
infected.
weapon.
Hey, Jill's infected with. She has lingering T virus, bro. Just like how Leon has lingering La Plagas, man. That's why they're superpowered.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go with that.
Okay. And then the one new weapon that they brought up was the double rocket launcher, which I was just like, what kind of impractical piece of shit is this?
Hey, look. At least Chris did not hold it by himself.
If he had held that by himself, I would have said. I mean, he did punch a boulder.
I mean, he did.
Canonically, he punched the boulder. Canonically.
He did.
Which reminds me, I was like, as soon as I saw the scene and he helped Leon put it together, I was like, Chris being strong as shit. What happened to Sheva?
Who?
Sheva.
Who?
His wife.
Who's that?
His wife, man. I would have married Sheva.
Sheva.
I would have made her my boo, son.
Man, listen, man.
Her name would be Sheva Redfield if I was done, son. You said what?
That woman's probably gonna be retcon, bro.
Sheva would have been Sheva Redfield when I was done with her, son.
Again, she's probably already. It's over.
But yeah, they killed the monster and then they all walk off into the sunset, and I was just like, cool. What? No, wait. What did Rebecca do with Claire again? With the bees and shit? What did he do again? Because I wasn't paying attention by that point.
They injected him with the virus. That's why he was so weak and like slow. They took all those mosquito-looking things and they turned it into basically on him, which is why he basically was fucked up.
Okay. Makes sense. So yeah, that was pretty. I was like, yeah, because Claire was about to blow them up or destroy them, and then Rebecca was like, wait a minute, and then they all came, fucked them up, and then they killed them, and then they walked off in the sunset. And by the end of that movie, I was like, there was a lot of time wasted in this movie. I'd say
that movie is a movie that happened. Though.
Yeah, I'd say it's about a 6-7 for me because I can't say it was the greatest. It was like a spot fest in a wrestling match. It was great, but did it add substance? No. It didn't do anything for its evil.
I liked it better than Vendetta by far.
Mm.
I still think my favorite one is Damnation.
Makes sense.
I don't know where to rank this because it's like I don't know if I should rank it below Infinite Darkness or higher than Infinite Darkness. Not that Infinite Darkness was bad.
Which one's the one with both Leon and Chris was in the movie together?
That's Vendetta.
Yeah.
It's that no? Listen, Vendetta is the worst. Damnation is number one. I almost want to say, despite how stoic and shitty the character of Leon was, Degeneration to me overall is number two. Number three, I almost want to say Infinite Darkness. Almost. But I think I will put this like a cunt's hair above Infinite Darkness. And the only reason why is because I did enjoy basically most of the movie, minus the villain's garbage and the ending.
Yeah.
Infinite Darkness wasn't bad. I just felt like at the end of the day, I probably would watch this before I would watch Infinite Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So don't quote me on that. So we're gonna put this one number 3 with Infinite Darkness like right there. You might as well say they're 3A, 3B, and then Vendetta's a long distant 5th. That movie fucking sucked. I absolutely hated Vendetta in every sense of the word.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if I had to get his actual score,
yeah,
I'd probably go 6.5 tops. I would, if the villain was better, if the actual villain had better, if the villain himself had better motivations, I would give this a 7. But I can't get over the motivations. He shoots himself, basically making his whole plan fucking pointless. And then it's just like, you copied Nemesis. I honestly don't even want to give it a 6, but I'll give it a 6 because before that point, I was fine with the movie.
Yeah,
I thought the way they delivered the virus was clever. I liked pretty much the characters that they did. You know, the interaction between Leon and Jill. I thought was well done. Probably the only time you'll see them, so don't get used to it.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. And I thought that overall, the connection with Vendetta, no matter how much I didn't like the movie, I thought it was good. You know, bringing back Maria, where the fuck, I think her name was Maria or something of that nature. I think it was overall good. So I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a solid 6. I would go lower because of the villain, but I think that would be wrong to do so. I can't go higher just because of the things. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're looking too much into it. It's just supposed to kick your feet back and have fun with this movie. I understand that, people watching. I get it. You know, you're going to probably say, oh, you're looking too much into it. But that's the thing. I've been watching and playing Resident Evil for over 20 years. The little things, I'm gonna zone in on the little things more so than the bigger things. I always will. And Dylan being as bad of a villain as he was, listen, I'm not a fan of Simmons. I think he's worse than Simmons.
Jesus.
Personally. Because Dylan's motivations made no sense. It made sense if I was to like uncover it and scrape all the fucking and put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
But if I'm watching this, I'm asking myself, why are you doing all this extra shit to all these extra people, only to shoot yourself in the fucking head, to get eaten by a shark, to transform, to do what? To do what? To clean the slate. You're a fucking monster now. At least, you know, Simmons was just a guy who was a terrorist who wanted power. Fine. Yeah. That's enough motivation. I can get with that. You know, every other villain, basically, when they mutate, they're mutating, or they put themselves in this situation to show the world where it is by making themselves a martyr and a sacrifice. I think it's stupid, but I can get with that. This guy's whole thing was, I'm going to clean the slate by infecting who I choose to infect. You can't choose to infect anyone if you're just a fucking monster at this point.
Exactly, and I was just confused. I was like, dude,
that right there dampened it for me, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't fly with that. So I'm gonna give it a 6. It's definitely not the worst one. It's not my favorite one.
Yeah,
but it's a movie that happened that if I chose to do a marathon of the CG movies, I would not mind watching again.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It's just I would fast forward, you know, a lot of the scenes though to get back to the main, you know, thing, because it feels like again, especially when they got infected, it just felt like fluff in the movie.
I don't like
But
when main characters get infected because we know they're not going to die.
yeah,
And Capcom doesn't
considering
have the
again,
balls. Capcom
yeah,
doesn't have the balls. They had
considering
two
that we're just
opportunities to
six
kill.
on the timeline, like it's not gonna happen.
They had two opportunities to kill main characters and they chose not to. The first
Was it?
time is when they were first was doing when they were first creating Resi 4/Resi 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
One of the original things was for Leon to actually die.
Mm.
Obviously, that didn't happen.
Obviously,
They had the best opportunity in Resi 6 with Chris. They chose not to do that and kill Pierce off instead. I would have killed Chris off in that movie, in that game. That's just me. I know people love Chris, and that's perfectly fine, but to be honest with you, you have to give these characters cannot just survive every little fucking thing.
Yeah.
There has to come a time where either they die or they just age out. And it's like, I felt like Resi 6 would have been a great time to really end the Chris story because it would have fit Chris's character for him to sacrifice himself for Pierce. Yeah. Considering he wanted Pierce to take over anyway. I think it'd have been nice. I think it actually made Resi 6 a little bit more digestible for me personally. But alas, Chris is still around doing BSAA garbage, which I have zero interest in. I have zero care. I legitimately do not care. Oh, now we have monsters working for us. Now it's like, yes, we know the BSAA becomes corrupt. Everything you're going to do is going to be corrupt. That's the way of Resident Evil, because you have all these fucking bioweapons out there that equal power, and power equals money. So
wait, when did the BSAA become corrupt?
In Resi 8, you see some stuff in Resi 8 that pretty much kind of like corrupt and shit. Like they're using bioweapons now as soldiers and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
As if they would never use it. I mean, you know, the bioweapon program was for soldiers to be anyway. They wanted 1 billion Weskers out there.
Yep. And so Jake exists.
Jake is, well, he was actually Wesker fucked a woman and actually got her pregnant.
Yeah.
Who that woman is? When did he do this? I don't fucking know. But he did it. So. But I think we're both on the same page about 6.5 for this movie.
Yeah.
It's fine. I call these movies a movie that happened.
Yeah. All right. Now moving to the next thing. We're going to do the weekly wrap up and then we're good to go. But yeah, like I said.
What about NXT Great American Bash?
When is that coming out?
Today.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I didn't know it was going to happen.
It didn't finish yet. It didn't come on yet. It comes on at 8:00.
Okay, I'll be watching that in 2 hours. I didn't even know it was a pay-per-view today, but I'm gonna go watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it because it's NXT. Considering I brought this up the last weekly roundup, so for this week, I'm just gonna bring it up to you because I want to know your opinion. How do you feel about The Last of Us 2 getting a possible remaster?
Why? Why? Who asked for this? Isn't it bad enough that we had so much hate for that game?
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. But why do we need a remaster? Why?
We don't. They just added a PlayStation 5 patch to it too.
Who cares? It's over. It's done. Why are we wasting time? People play it. People beat it. It's one of your most divisive games out there. You gonna do a remake?
No. People aren't gonna buy it this time.
Probably not.
Because
they don't like Abby. They don't like Abby for whatever reason. Oh, I know the reason. You got people out here saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have killed Joel." I mean, I'm sorry. Joel went into a hospital and blew up innocent fucking people to save one woman without thinking about consequences. I'm sorry.
No. For me, it's not the fact that Joel's dead. I was just like, as I said to many people, I was like, if the story was told a little bit better, and in a different order, then yes, it would probably be a lot better and Abby would be more digestible. For me, it's just jarring to play with Abby right after you play with Ellie, and it's just a whole mess. And I was like, I just don't want to do this. So by the time I was playing with Abby, I was just like,
I didn't
what
mind
the
Abby.
fuck? Like her gameplay was better because it gave her everything, but it's just like, dude, I don't like Abby right now. I don't even care enough. Like
I
it
like
doesn't make
Abby.
any sense.
Her story made sense.
Yeah,
Joel killed her father. She wants revenge. It's
Yeah.
a very simple story to tell.
but they made Joel so stupid, and I'm just like, Joel
Not really.
just
So
randomly
how would
gave out
Joel
his
know?
identity.
Well,
No, it doesn't matter.
Joel
Joel-
doesn't.
Of
He didn't
all the
know these
people, I know, but
I
Joel,
mean-
considering from the first one to the second one, Joel, his personality with other people, he didn't trust nobody. So
Yeah, but
he
think
managed
about
to
this.
start trusting a stranger.
Well, think about this.
Yeah.
He has Ellie.
hmm
That it immediately changed him.
Yeah.
He has a whole village full of people,
Yeah.
and what that shows me.
hmm
I'm not saying it was smart.
Yeah.
But what it shows is that he actually had character development as a character.
Eh.
That character development led to his death, but it's development nonetheless. Because Joel was like, stay away. I don't really bother with anyone.
Mhm.
The new Joel is like, I'm willing to help if I can, if it doesn't endanger the people,
hmm
because of the development of Ellie and then having this whole village and, seeing babies being born and all this other shit. So
Yeah.
I was fine
Yeah.
with it because it showed development of the character.
Yeah.
I thought Last of Us, despite, like I said, Last of Us 2 to me, I enjoyed it because it was a very simple game.
Yeah. Simple,
It
done.
was a simple story.
hmm
It's about two characters that both are right and both are wrong.
Yeah.
Very simple story to tell. Because
Yeah.
you have to, like, the infection, and this is what I like. The infection,
Mhm.
when you playing with the same characters, and I've said this before on the actual podcast,
Mhm.
it is very hard to have same characters be like scared of these monsters that they've been fighting for years.
Yeah.
You look back at Resident Evil, Resi 1 and 2 was fine because you dealt with Chris and Jill, and then Leon and Claire.
Yeah.
So the opinions coming off. In Last of Us, if I had seen these characters being kind of like still afraid of the clickers and not knowing how to deal with them and live around the situations, I'd have been kind of like, all right, what are we doing? Now, if you went for a whole new cast, that didn't really, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I was fine with the story to tell. Abby wants revenge because Joel killed her father. She kills Joel. Ellie wants to kill Abby because she killed basically her surrogate father.
Which is,
And then,
which I was just like, okay, you should have realized, and then got mad at Ellie for. It was just a bunch of shit that I was just like, Abby, it's your fault. You can't really get mad. But like I said, if they told the story slightly differently, different order, and had a different type of situation start up, then I would not have complained a single moment of the game. I would have said the game is fantastic. But because they told the story in the way that they told it, I was just like, by the end, I was just like, I'm never playing this again. Especially the ending. The ending fight was stupid. But when I hear about that,
Abby looked anorexic because of months.
Yeah. And I was like, why? What was the point of this? But okay.
because if Abby had fought Ellie, should have broke Ellie in half.
Yeah.
So they had to nerf her.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And
the only issue is Ellie didn't kill her. So it's like, we went through the whole game of you wanting to kill her, and you just let her go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I wanted Abby to die or anything, but if we're gonna do that, at least have something happen to prevent Ellie from killing her.
Yeah.
And then maybe instead of wasting the bullets to shoot long range, she just says "fuck it" and walks off.
Yeah, but like I said, man, I would have if I was to make the story, Joel would have still died, but it would have again been told in a completely different way. Like Joel wouldn't have been the one to save her, and I would have had them raid the camp, type of shit.
Well,
and then you not introduce Abby or anything like that. And second, I would have kind of, because I wasn't one of the people that killed the dad in the first game. I kind of would consider that because I literally just threw a brick at his toe and he just dropped it. And I was like, so in my game, in my Last of Us 1, he's not dead. He's okay. He just, got a brick to the toe. He probably got turf toe. moving on for that.
You shotgun at everyone's face, bro.
I did not. I just threw a brick at his kneecap or his toe. Yeah, I threw it at his toe, then reloaded it and threw it at his kneecap to see if there was a different reaction. But I threw it at his toe, and I was like, yeah, he probably got the worst case of turf toe because I didn't kill him. Yeah, but like I said, I would have told it in a completely different order. Different situations would have happened, and I would have kind of explored certain aspects better. But let's move on for that because we're gonna talk about this shit for the rest of the year.
No remake,
moving.
no remaster, please.
No. Next thing, I don't know if you heard that Ubisoft will be deleting inactive accounts, which delete your games that you bought on the Ubisoft account. Yeah, they already deleted a couple of people's shit. And for me, I was like, why are people buying games off of Ubisoft stuff instead of just buying it off of Steam or anything like that?
I don't know, man. What was that fucking game? That game they did about the gods or whatever, Phoenix or
yeah.
Apparently the second one got canceled.
I mean, because the first one didn't do too well.
No, the first one was good, a good game. That's not why they canceled it though.
Why'd they cancel it?
Assassin's Creed Ninjas, man.
Oh yeah.
Assassin's Creed Red. They moved everyone to Assassin's Creed Red.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm only buying Mirage, and then Red. So they said Red is going to go right back to the same thing as Valhalla and what's it called. I was like, you mean a game that's too big with power systems and stuff that make it pointless and not be called Assassin's Creed? I'm good.
I'm going to do this. I fucking hate everything after 3 in Assassin's Creed. And I'm not even saying they're bad games. I'm not saying they're bad games. I don't give a shit. Now, everyone in this who watches this fucking show has heard me say I've cut ties with this fucking franchise.
Yeah.
And I have not played. I've watched. I'm not gonna seriously say I haven't watched Assassin's Creed gameplay.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity. But I have not played an Assassin's Creed game since 3 and / Revelations, whichever order that came out. Whatever. I'm a sucker for ninjas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will keep a minimalistic eye on this game. Will I actually buy this game? I will not say no.
I would suggest
this could
because...
be. Hold on. I'm gonna watch this game very, very closely. I am a sucker for ninja games, and quite frankly, I wish I had another Tenchu game. Ghost of Tsushima was over before it was started. And as much as I love that game, there's nothing to do. I'm gonna watch. I read leaks about this fucking Red. I'm gonna keep an eagle eye, a very small eagle eye. I don't think I can give a shit. I'm not gonna say no. It's about a 90% chance I don't.
Yeah.
But there's a very slim chance that I could return to Assassin's Creed for one time only. And by slim, I mean a cunt's hair. Because we have Way of the Ronin next year. Or Ronin, whatever the fuck that game is called.
Yeah.
And all other shit.
To be quite honest.
A rumor Ghost of Tsushima too.
Yeah. But to be quite honest, Darkwave, I would suggest you just gamefly the game. Because that's what I was probably going to do.
What I'm hoping is to go to fucking Game Pass. You know, go Game Pass. I don't have to buy it all. Hey.
But
either way,
it most likely will. But
what I'm saying is, I could be like I could come out of my Assassin's Creed retirement.
Yeah, I know. I got you. But the only problem I have is I still suggest you get it on GameFly because I'm probably going to do that with GameFly because if the game goes back to how Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla is, then don't waste your time just might as well just Gamefly it or something because you're
Well,
gonna get mad.
I'll have to get GameFly first, but I
Yeah,
probably would do that.
Gamefly is cheap, bro.
I
$15
probably
for
would
one
do that,
game. Yeah,
but I
no.
would just pray that
Yeah,
it's on Game Pass.
yeah. If it's on Game Pass, then you got it for free. Don't waste your money.
Because then I can
If
just like, then I
yeah,
can hide from everyone on PlayStation. You know, I ain't gotta hit the
yeah,
message. Oh, you playing Assassin's
yeah,
Creed?
yeah. And if you get it on GameFly, you can say, I didn't pay shit for this. I'm renting it and give it right the fuck back if you're like, oh, this is trash and call it the day. You know what I mean? Instead of wasting your money. I don't suggest you waste your money
I
because
probably, I mean, like I said, it will be when Assassin's Creed games usually come out. I don't even pay them no fucking mind. I don't look them up. I don't look at trailers. I don't do shit.
yeah.
But I will
Mar-
keep a like very small eagle eye on Assassin's Creed Ninjas, the game we should have had almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. And yeah, this is the one where I'm just like, all right. I for me, I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm gonna after Valhalla and everything with Valhalla, I'm tired. I don't feel like playing the game where I actually go around the fucking planet. It's too long, it's too big. We're good. When it came to oh yeah, and I'm getting sick of the power level thing. I don't want that thing anymore. I don't want RPG elements in my Assassin's Creed. The fact that they said they're going back to RPG elements, possibly for the red one,
For
which makes me
for ninjas, it depends. I almost maybe would want to see how they do it because if you can make different ninja type of ninjas, maybe
that's fine. That's fine. But if
all
it's the
depends on-
character and it's like the last three Assassin's Creed, which are technically RPGs, it's more like you're gonna get a sword
Well-
and then you get a better sword, and you can't do
Well-
assassinations unless your level is higher than the person. That's
Well,
other
yeah.
than that, you can't assassinate anybody, which is the whole purpose of Assassin's Creed. And if you're a ninja, you're an assassin. So if I want to stab somebody in the throat, and they instantly die, that's not a thing.
They have a lot to live up to, man.
Yeah.
And
And then
Ghost of Tsushima is still a thing, and
Yeah,
that was
and
basically Assassin's Creed.
yeah, and that's why Assassin's Creed Mirage, when it was like, oh, we're going back to the original style. And I was like, okay, I'm actually gonna give that game a chance. And that's why I hope everyone buys Mirage, and then after that, they're gonna be like, okay, so this sold more than this. Let's go back to this style so people can leave us the fuck alone because nobody wants to
People
play.
will buy Mirage because people like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
They
I like
no
1 through
one's gonna
4.
go. No one's gonna go out there and really say what I'm saying about Assassin's Creed because at the end of the day, they're just gonna say it's still a good game. I look at
Nah.
Assassin's Creed and I dig deeper.
Yeah,
These games, like even this new one coming out,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Red. Realistically, it's more Assassin's Creed than Vikings, pirates, Spartans, and an Egyptian guy who quote unquote started it all. Because ninjas are actually assassins.
actually, to make it even funnier, the Medjay are also assassins, according to Spirit. But so apparently, Odyssey and Valhalla also takes place before Origins. So, at this point, I don't know what the fuck anymore, and I don't care.
Those games aren't Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they are not.
Spartans and Vikings do not do sneaky assassination kills. They go in there and they fight, and that's their whole thing.
Yeah, so that's why at
But
this point,
one,
that's why I'm like, if you're gonna do the like, why are you doing RPG elements in a ninja game? It doesn't make any sense. But that's why I said.
well, like I said, if they give you options, like you could have, say, a build that deals with poisons, and then
There
another
are no
build,
builds.
I'm just saying. If that's what they want to do.
Mhm.
I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since Revelation /3. So I'm saying if they wanted to make a different type of ninjas, which they probably won't.
Wait, why didn't you play 4? That actually was like the best one.
Because I cut ties at 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, 3 was good.
I was when I saw Desmond touch that fucking orb and drop to the ground like a sack of potatoes, I was fucking done.
Oh yeah, 4 is actually.
I was furious because I was so invested in the story, and this is what you do to me. You cuck me like this. I don't give a shit about the Kim Ways and they still play. I don't care.
Yeah,
because honestly, I was looking forward to going to the future and doing that type of assassinations, and we get this garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Fuck it, I'm done." I took every single game back.
Yeah, but on a good note, like I said, that's why I'm glad Mirage is coming out, and it would probably show them to take out the RPG elements, because if you I'm glad you didn't have to play Origins because I don't like Origins in the slightest. It was boring. It was just large, and again, it had RPG elements. And literally, again, I can't stand it when because my number says 1 and your number says 5. I can't instantly stab you in the throat. I stab you, and then you turn around, you get to whip my ass. That's not how that works. Or fucking Odyssey, which again, Odyssey is just too fucking big. It's the biggest one, and now you have to travel across the seas to do all this and that just to do 1 or 2 missions. You're like, what the fuck? And then you have to
Yeah.
equip weapons just to get stronger and all that shit. And then there was Valhalla. While I love Valhalla, and actually is a pretty fun game at its core, and you can actually slightly turn off some of the things to make it an actual Assassin's Creed game, it still requires you to actually get stronger loot and weapons, which means you have to continuously go around the game doing a bunch of shit. Because enemies, once again, if they are slightly stronger than you, you can't assassinate because that makes sense. Hence why, as soon as they said Mirage is going back to the original style, I was just like, sign me up, because all I want to do is sneak on rooftops, stab people in the face once, and call it the fuck a day. I really don't care about collecting loot. I just want to assassinate and follow a story. Like 1 through 4. Revelations was kind of terrible, but that's them just remaking 4, but you're a bad guy. It just didn't make any sense. But
Hey, man, Revelations, the finish of Altair's story, bro.
yeah. No, moving on.
Assassin, by the way.
No, not Revelations. What was the joint when you were the bad guy? You were the whatever. Not Revelations. All 3 of the 2s were good games, except for 3 was just like, what was the point of this?
Brotherhood's still my favorite one.
Brotherhood is one of, if not the greatest Assassin's Creed that's ever came out.
Training the assassins. We can move on to this. I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
I had a female. She was one of the very first ones I recruited, so she was like the strongest one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget. I've said this story many times. I had finished assassinating someone, I guess in broad daylight, and one of the police or someone said assassino, as they say, and that bitch, they usually disappear. Yeah. Before she disappeared, she pulled the gun and shot dude off the horse, and then left. I was like, I was like, you know what? That moment was forever the greatest moment in any Assassin's Creed game for me. Because he was like, Assassino! Kush! And I was like, instant.
Hey, she had to save her boss.
Beautiful. And then she just disappeared. I was like, love it. Love it. Love it, man.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. You can just point, and then they assassinate.
I would sit there and watch and just be like,
I was like, good job, guys. Good job.
That shit was hilarious. Cause I forgot why I went down there. I think they had already killed, and I just went down there to get whatever, and then fucking got on the horse. Assassino! It was so random. Like, shit. I don't know what was better, that or fucking Dragon's Dogma. When I first saw the meteor shower come down, I didn't know where it came from. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I saw that my pawn does the meteor shower because there was one goblin, and she sits there like floats in the air. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So I just watch, and all these meteors come down to kill one little goblin. I'm like, was that necessary? You have all these other moves I gave you, and you did that to one goblin?
And speaking of, I'm still mad that they didn't have multiplayer. They just had fucking the same thing as the first one, and people are like,
I better hear something about multiplayer in Dragon's Dogma 2, man. Because as it
that's
looks
not what
right
they
now,
said. It's the pawns.
I know it says pawns. We better get an update. They got. Listen, that shit was like. Listen, I love Dragon's Dogma. I do. Yeah. That shit. If you told me that was just a remake or a remaster, I would believe you. No, you do not. You can give us the pawns. I'm not even saying there needs to be a multiplayer in the story. There needs to be a multiplayer option somewhere, because holy shit, that was the number one thing everyone wanted in your first game.
Yeah, and some of the pawns were just nonsense, because one of my cousin's pawns just kept hopping off cliffs, and I was like, yo, you can't be this dumb.
Yeah, My Palm was one of the best on the rankings on Xbox Live, bro. My Palm was up there, top 5 all the time. Man, I love it. Love it.
Oh Lord. All right. Moving on. Let me finish something here. There we go. Boom. All right, I'm good here. All right. Diablo 4 got review bombed after the patch, and people are pissed about the battle pass.
Can we just get Path of Exile 2 already? I can't play that game. Listen, I've tried playing Diablo in the most recent
Patch?
thing.
Yeah. I tried it self.
It's not even that I hate the game.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I've done it. You know, I've done it. I don't know. I've done it. I'm basically doing the exact same thing. I get a couple. Don't get me wrong. The little hearts, the add new skills. That's perfectly fine. I have a rogue again. I've changed my build, so I'm not doing twisting blades again, and I'm actually having fun with the build. Yeah. But overall, I'm playing by myself, and ultimately, I look left, I look right, and I'm just asking myself, why? That's the bigger question for me. Why am I doing this? When this season ends, then what? Now, this character will go to the rim, and I assume all that shit will be on that character, so he'll be a stronger version than my rogue currently.
Yeah.
But if he goes to the Eternal Realm, then you can just take all the shit off of him and give it to your main anyway. I assume. Which would make it pointless. But ultimately, I just sit there and I'm asking myself, why? I don't know, man. I don't know what I need in my games anymore, man. I don't. Like, it's bad enough. It's bad when I reinstall SAO Fatal Bullet, bro.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
It's bad enough when I actually hop back on Dark Souls 2. All for 15 minutes. Because then I realize what I have to do in the Ice DLC. I forgot. She melts all the ice with all the crates.
And then you gotta run through the level again.
Where all the crates were. And then on top of that, I gotta find all these fucking knights, which I don't remember where they are. Great. So I found one knight. I opened up a couple of chests. I look left. I look right. And I cut Dark Souls 2 off. It's the only DLC I need to finish from that fucking game, by the way. Yes, I'm late to Dark Souls 2, but still.
I mean, you're fine, bro.
And then it's like, I reinstalled Fatal Bullet. I did the event on Xenoverse 2. Blue Protocol's closed beta sign up. Great. I've been playing more mobile games than console games right now. Granted, the PC versions of said mobile game. So, you know, I've been playing Snowbreak Containment Zone on PC. Honkai Star Rail on PC. I'm having more fun with those. Gotcha games, man. Gotcha.
Yeah. Some of them can be fun. Man? I've been playing Final Fantasy Brave Xevious for years. Literally got so much shit in that game. It's not even funny at this point. I'm also trying to sign up for the Blue Protocol beta. Jesus.
You didn't sign up yet?
Nope. They're saying sign up with Amazon, but
I mean, I already signed up for it, so you should be oh shit.
Let me make sure I'm good to go.
I have a party invite on PlayStation. What the fuck?
Okay, I signed up for it. It's really that simple. I literally just hit the. I'm not complaining. Anywho.
So I'm about to multitask now.
All right. Now, Darkwave, have you seen the Skull Island trailer.
Trailer. You mean the game?
Yeah, the Kong
Or
Skull Island trailer.
you mean the game, right?
Yeah.
You're not talking about the Netflix show. 'Cause I already watched Netflix. Give me a second, John. Yeah, I did see it, and we're not gonna talk about it. Move on.
What? You don't want to talk about Golem 2?
Gollum. That looks worse than
Gollum.
Gollum. Give me a second, John. That looks worse than Gollum, bro. I don't know what the fuck that shit. I looked at that. I'm like,
Yeah, it's been.
I was
it's
watching
been
on my
getting
phone. This is my reaction.
Oh Lord! All right.
That was my reaction, bro.
Yeah,
That
my
shit
reaction
looked like
was,
complete
"What the
fucking
hell
garbage.
is this?
We
Did they
deserve
not
better
learn?"
than that garbage. We deserve better. I don't know what the fuck that was. That shit looked like garbage.
And lastly, before we move on to the WWE that happened the week, there was a trailer that I've wanted to view with people while we're here. Let me find it. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Let's go. Let's look at it as a unit, right? Yeah, this hopefully is better than the first one. Here's hoping.
Everybody's an idiot except for me. Let's get this over with.
Poppin' clams!
I'm ready for war.
That's it! Here it comes!
I'm ready for war.
This is gonna make headlines, all right.
Here's a one-way ticket to rock bottom.
I'm ready for war.
Go SpongeBob.
Need to stop, but I keep it going. Don't like to talk, so leave me alone. I'm ready for war. I'm covered it all.
This will be a night we shan't forget. How did you get in my lab anyway?
Okay, I think we're done there. I stopped caring a little bit.
First of all, I don't even give a shit about Smash Brothers. Number one. Number two. Why?
The first one just came out. Why did we make it getting into Nick All-Star Brawl 2? And all they added so far was Jimmy Neutron. They updated the graphics, and hopefully people have voice acting because that game was scarily silent.
I mean, it has some voice acting.
Some.
I heard.
Yeah. But
Now, the question is, should we talk about WWE now or wait till NXT is over?
no, we're just talking about the week. Technically, this was supposed to happen yesterday, but the weekly roundup part was supposed to happen right yesterday. The review was going to happen regardless of what day. But did you watch Raw and SmackDown, sir?
Sure. I don't think the answer should be that I watch. I think the answer is, do I remember?
Do you remember anything of Raw or SmackDown, sir?
Hardly.
Okay. Well, we're going to go through the cliff notes real fast. Saul's also getting a trailer. Saul's getting a new game.
He's getting a new movie.
Oh, that's just terrible.
John is back. I thought he was dead.
Huh.
I saw the trailer.
Okay. Moving on. I read something that I was just like, what the fuck? So far, how do you feel about Baron Corbin being on NXT? I never actually got to ask you that question.
Who?
Baron Corbin,
Who?
the guy who wrestled Carmelo Hayes like a week or two ago. Okay.
Shut up, Baron Corbin.
Okay. But the first things first, the things that are most important to me is the fact that I don't know if you noticed, but both Raw and SmackDown ended with the bad guys beating up the face that they're going against. Seth Rollins being the guy to be put in the dirt, and on SmackDown, Jey Uso being put in the dirt. Some of the storylines were not properly furthered, and the only one that actually really matters in the grand scheme of things is literally the Bloodline and or Judgment Day, in which that storyline is just continuing, and it's just yeah.
I mean,
But you said what?
to be honest, outside of Gunther,
Mhm.
there's nothing else to tell. There's no It's not. It's not that there's nothing else to tell.
Mhm.
WWE just doesn't give a shit. They have their Judgment Day. They have their Bloodline.
Yeah.
That's all they care about. And no, Cody Rhodes does not count because Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And then there's Bobby Lashley trying to recruit the Street Profits into, the Hurt personification.
That has potential. I'm looking forward
Hopefully.
to that.
Yeah, hopefully. But I really don't think they should do that.
Anything to help the Street Profits, bro.
Okay. Of course, Carl Anderson versus Karrion Kross happened. I don't. Yeah. Moving on, and finally, the Bloodline match that's going to happen is I don't even know.
Oh, you forgot, man. You forgot the Can They Coexist?
Oh yeah, with Belair and Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Can They Coexist thing, and did they coexist? Because I stopped caring.
Yeah, they coexisted. Kind of. But the best thing about the SmackDown,
yeah,
was the Asuka and Io promo. That shit was funny. They spoke fluent English, and that shit was great.
Yeah. But yeah, I was mostly disappointed this week. Both the shows were boring messes that had nothing to do with anything, and they only furthered one storyline each, when in actuality they have multiple pots that are cooking. Like Kevin Owens is on injury, but yet they did talk about that, and Sami Zayn got his ass whipped by Judgment Day. Then there's the fact that you said what?
Yeah, when he tried to say Seth.
Yeah, tried to say Seth.
He tried.
What's her name's injured, so they lost the female tag titles. Don't ask me to remember their names right now. I don't really care.
They did that so Raquel can fight Rhea at SummerSlam. I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay.
By the
That's
way,
Rhea's only opponent.
we'll probably get Seth Rollins and Dominic and Sami Zayn versus Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest.
Okay, Dominic needs to lose that belt like yesterday.
Dominic fucking sucks, man.
He needs to lose that belt yesterday.
Well,
Is he even all at Great American Bash?
mm-hmm.
Who's he going against in Great American Bash?
Wesley and Mustafa Ali. Triple threat.
Okay, so again, he needs to lose that belt yesterday. And then there's an 8-person mixed tag team. Why am I? No, we can't talk about this right now. We will wait for the next podcast to talk about NXT, because I'm probably going to be more wrestling focused and for anything, because it helps with the weekly roundups, kind of help with the gaming stuff. And then if I have questions for you, I can ask for the questions. But yes, so far this week on wrestling, it was a solid. If we rate the shows together, all three of them, it was It was boring as
Collision's
fuck.
better.
You said what?
AEW Collision is better.
AEW Collision is way better, but it was more entertaining. But right now, that shit was boring as fuck. Like, I can't believe I actually just look at the highlights of Raw vs. SmackDown and go, wow, this is what's happening. I can't believe it. Oh, man, that's crazy.
I mean, I forgot. I forgot it was even happening.
Exactly. But did you have any more thoughts or anything on the weekly roundup / Resident Evil review, sir?
No, they were good.
Yeah, man. All right. I bid all you I do. With my sexy
Bye-bye.
face.
Oh, by the way, for those watching, yes, I knew my shirt was back on backwards for a while. I just didn't give a shit.
I didn't notice until you started turning your shirt around, and I was just like, "This man is showing his chest on the internet."
I noticed it when I was looking down earlier. I was like, "Oh, look, it's on backwards."
Wait, I saw you change your shirt. I was just like, he didn't cut his camera off. I'm not.
I was only turning it.
Show your whole nipples.
Hi, Mom. Be alright.
Anywho,
Just do one of them blur things at that spot. Oh wait,
this is live, pal.
Hey!
I can't edit this. This is live.
You never know what can happen live, man.
Yes. This is why I said this helps when it comes to the original process of starting the podcast versus this one, which is 2 seconds. I could have made a video, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to edit it up to everything's good to go. Everything's done. And I'm good to wait. I got a comment. Hey, Red Tiger Gamer. How are you doing, sir? We were just wrapping up the podcast, actually.
Going on, Red Tiger.
How you doing? Actually, one a good friend from another channel that I know. Actually, pretty cool dude. All right. Like I said, we just reached the end. I will catch you all later. Of course, it's going to be archived on the channel like usual. And this is the Defeationist, or Wild Fang the Defeationist, signing out, aka the CEO with a lot of crap in his background because he's cool like that. All right.
Mm-hmm.